Now, yesterday we talked about how the ADL is going after Steam, and for those of you who haven't watched the video, it's crucial whenever you see a study to look at how exactly they define anti-Semitismus, because most often the definition of the researcher, especially if the researcher is interested in finding anti-Semitismus, is going to be extremely different than the definition that people think of when they hear the word in their real life, right? So like, I want you to imagine, like, close your eyes and imagine what exactly would a case of anti-Semitism look like. Like something that's harmful enough to warrant the attention of an NGO. Now that you pictured it, let me tell you how the ADL defines anti-Semitism. A Pepe the Frog emoji. Like, that's an instant of anti-Semitism. They think the word shekel, used in any context, it's also anti-Semitism. So if on Steam someone says, how many shekels does this game cost? That's anti-Semitism. So I already committed, I think, like 3 or 4 acts of anti-Semitism, right? Like, just by using the word shekel and talking about Pepe the Frog. I'm a very dangerous individual, right? Like, someone needs to get me in check. They also don't care about context at all. So, like, if someone is to do shock humor, if a Jewish person themselves does a swastika using ASCII pixels in order to do shock humor, just to see how people react to it, that's anti-Semitism, right? So this is how they managed to get like 1.8 million instances of anti-Semitism. Like, you would think Steam is like a liberal campus. You would think it's like a Democrat convention or free Palestine individuals, but no. They basically mean that any type of banter or fun can be anti-Semitism. And as I'm reading the study, I'm realizing that the ADL is making me anti-Semitic, and I'm wondering when exactly can I report the ADL? Because a lot of people are pissed off. You know, they look at Steam and they actually enjoy Steam as a brand. They enjoy Steam as a company because it has been loyal to gamers for all this time. And you see this organization attacking Steam, and the question is like, what are they after? Why are they doing this when it's obvious that it's not anti-Semitic? Especially, a lot of people use Steam, and if you actually want to find anti-Semitism, again, you would go on Twitch. Like, the last place you would go is Steam. But the reason that I made this video is not to talk about the study, is to point out that there are a lot of people on Twitter that do not like content creators like myself. You know, like people who speak against woke ideology, people who are not on board with identity politics. They call us grifters, right? They call us grifters. And I find it fascinating that for some reason, when the official gaming press, when prestigious publications are doing this shit, crickets. None of them call them grifters. None of them complain. This is completely grassroots and natural, right? Like, all of these publications within the span of a couple of hours release the same article with almost the same title. If you actually read it, it's almost like copy-paste. And I will tell you a secret. Many of them probably don't know. I actually work at publications. You know what they have? They have an editorial team. And it actually takes a couple of hours, like sometimes even days, to get your article past the editorial team. And the research came out a couple of hours ago, and yet all these articles seem to be here, which tells me that they were like already printed and ready to go. How is this not grifting, huh? What do they have that I don't? Like, what exactly must I do so the critics are happy, right? Like, I need to emulate the gamer. Like, please tell me, if you're a person from Twitter that calls me a grifter, what does the gamer do right that I do wrong? Because I want to get away from that criticism, right? I'll tell you something else that's interesting. You know, you go to all these gaming publications, same fucking article. Now, go to my channel, look at the videos that I uploaded in the last couple of months, and compare me with the Quartering, compare me with Arch, compare me with other grifters. And notice how our content is completely different. Like, sure, sometimes there may be like an event which is so significant or is so funny that a lot of content creators talk about it. But even then, you would notice that if you go to my channel and then you go to Arch, the take is different, the presentation is different, the title is different, and the thumbnail is different. Meanwhile, when you look at the gaming press, it's almost word for word, like copy-paste. And it's not just the fact that they're talking about it. They have the exact same take on it. They don't disagree. They have like, again, like almost as if they're copying each other's homework. Like if you are a teacher and you are giving a homework to your students and they come back with this shit, you would assume that all of them copied. You wouldn't think that anyone actually thought for themselves when creating the homework, right? There is no accountability for these people. And again, I find it fascinating that when you go on Twitter, all of the individuals are like, oh, right-wing grifters, right-wing grifters. But when it comes to their mainstream media, they're blind. Like, what's wrong with your eyes? Go see an ophthalmologist. They try to figure out, like, what is the problem? And when you figure out, tell me as well, like, what exactly is the press doing that you like so much and that I should actually take and put on my channel? So now that we're past this, I am still curious what Steam will do. Again, if you haven't watched the previous video, the whole purpose of this, I suspect, is to actually get an editorial board on Steam. Like, they want their own people in the Trust and Safety Council. They want to create the trust and safety regulations for Steam. And the question is if Steam will buckle or not. I don't think it will, because unlike Twitch, Steam doesn't make money from advertisers. Like, they actually make money by selling games. And most of the AAA companies already don't want to do business with Steam because they're taking 40% cut. So Ubisoft would prefer not to sell games on Steam. For Blizzard, it was actually a reputational hit when they started selling Overwatch on Steam. But they don't have any other choice because that's where the people are. I don't think gamers give a fuck. I know Jewish gamers that don't think that Steam is anti-Semitic. So I don't think anything will change, right? The companies will still have to go to Steam because that's where the money is. Gamers don't give a fuck. So it's up to Gabe. I don't know the type of people inside Steam. Like, the only way I can see something being done if there's internal pressure. Like, they have some activist employee in high places and they do walkouts and shit. But, you know, like, they may actually just give ADL a bone or something. Like, they're going to do a cost assessment, basically. But what the ADL does want, I think, is two things. Number one, control, right? Like, they want Steam to monitor all of the chats. Like, they want, when you talk with someone else on Steam, that chat to be monitored. When you voice chat in a game, that voice chat should be recorded, probably sent to an AI. And, of course, they also want terms of service. But if you look at Steam's terms of service, like, they already have terms against hate speech, right? I guess they want stricter enforcement, like maybe hire some ADL-friendly moderators or something. But it's absolutely disturbing. You know, the ADL should be concerned with their reputation first and foremost rather than Steam because last time I checked, they're being sued by Elon Musk, aren't they? For lying about anti-Semitism on Twitter. Using similar tactics, by the way. Again, if you go on their website and you actually look at what they consider to be hate symbols, like the OK sign is a hate symbol. And you would wonder, like, who in their right mind would do that? And the answer is the ADL because it's very conniving. You're making the OK sign be a hate symbol so that when you go on a website to find anti-Semitism, every single OK sign is an instance of anti-Semitism, right? So they're not lying, like they're very upfront with what they're doing, but they're changing definitions, they're interpreting it in a way that the public doesn't interpret it, and then they expect that the feedback they give to be interpreted by the public differently, right? So it's pretty much, I mean, you can't call it a scheme, but if you're not aware, if you don't actually read their methodology, then, you know, context should be needed. A little bit of fact-checking would be in order. Let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.